Your top stories this evening sponsored by Courts, bringing value home. Police shooting of Akim Rajkumar. Family alleges that police planted the evidence. Slain bandit's car found abandoned. Relatives and neighbors befuddled by the premature end of their freedom. Do not make GCAM chairmanship issue a problem. Minister Harman tells the Berbice business community. And consumers owe GWI $5 billion. Non-compliant consumers to soon feel the heat. HGP Nightly News begins now. Good evening to our viewers here in Guyana and online. I'm Travis Chase with the Wednesday, July 5 edition of the HGP Nightly News. We have what you need to know this evening. We begin by telling you that investigators are still at awe following that daring attempted robbery at the Republic Bank. Some new details are emerging, and we have those details in this story. Police have confirmed that the car which was used to transport the gunmen who attempted to rob the Republic Bank on Water Street Tuesday morning was indeed hijacked on the east coast of Demerara several hours before the attempted robbery. Commander of C Division Calvin Brutus confirmed this by telephone Wednesday.
We received a report at Spanham Police Station from Mendes that he was crossing down in the vicinity of Chateau Margot on the main road. That's where the Crusade is. Yes. And three men neatly dressed flagged him down and asked to be taken to Good for Walking. And he obliged to pick them up. When they got to Good for Walking, they instructed them to turn into Claybeck Road, by which time the one that was sitting behind him hit him in his head with a firearm. The other one who was sitting in the front seat pointed another weapon at him, ordered him out of the car, which he complied, and they drove away and headed to Georgetown.
It is reported that the gunmen were neatly dressed when they hijacked the car. As new details of the attempted robbery emerge, two of the captured bandits were placed on an identification parade, and one of them has been positively identified by the owner of the hijacked car as the one who struck him with the gun and ordered him out of the car.
And the victim allegedly pointed out or identified one of the perpetrators, who was the one sitting in the front seat on the night in question.
The car was found abandoned in the vicinity of John Fernand's Wharf minutes after the robbery. On Tuesday afternoon, police were called to South Rhymeveld where they discovered this motor vehicle belonging to Elton Ray, who was shot dead during the robbery. Police were told that Ray had parked his vehicle there sometime around 6 a.m. Tuesday, changed his clothing, and waited for his partners in crime who arrived in the getaway car. The bandit seen here, Keron Sanders, is said to have been the driver of the car. Now that Elton Ray has been shot and killed, police are questioning his accomplices, Jamal Haynes, who worked at Republic Bank for 7 years, and Ray's cousin, Keron Sanders, as to the source of the guns used in the execution of the attempted robbery. They are said to be cooperating with the police. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. Meanwhile, relatives and neighbors of the captured gunmen who risked a movie-style early morning robbery at Republic Bank on Tuesday are both traumatized and shocked at the outcome of the lives of the young men. Kristen Macklingam spoke with a few of them.
I'm here at Eccles East Bank Demerara. A number of neighbors have expressed their shock. However, for fear of victimization, they refuse to go on camera.
The deceased Elton Ray, 25, who was shot dead during the robbery attempt, was a China-trained agronomist and crop extension officer at the National Agricultural Research and Extension Institute, NARI. Some of his neighbors, who requested anonymity, told Nightly News that the deceased, along with his brother, who were renting a home in Eccles East Bank Demerara, appeared to have been individuals above reproach. Hence, news that the young men had been killed after attempting to rob the bank came as a total shock.
Well, one of them was here before.
The other one come and join.
And then after, I think a month or so after, then the next guy come. He was more friendly. We never know them too much, right? You know. But to the way we see them, you know, they look reasonable, good person, because the boy was always dressed neatly, you know, tidy, not there no rugged looking, you know, tidy looking, and he looked presentable to me, you know, and all that I know it, right? That's all.
Last but not least, would you say that they were friendly, quiet people?
Yes, quiet, very quiet by them.
Passing and always say hello.
Friendly,
Hello. And that's all.
That's all.
Both Elton and Jamal, they were quiet persons, not this disturbing neighbor, but they always kept a straight face. Elton in particular always had this serious face. Say that one time to my mom, he watches me as though I have a secret for him and he can do me anything at any time. Right? But I spoke to Jamal about it, and Jamal said that's how he is with everyone. He has this gate up with that he doesn't really speak to people. So.
Some other neighbors in the area said that the incident at Republic Bank yesterday left them in a state of shock, that they were surprised to know that these young men were involved. Would you say it was the same for you?
Yes, it was.
Ray's accomplices have been identified as Jamal Haynes, a Republic Bank staffer of Norton Street, Wortmanville, Georgetown, and Kieran Sanders. A cousin of Sanders spoke with Nightly News about the young man, stating that Sanders is a good person, but that he may have succumbed to peer pressure to get involved in the robbery.
Can you tell me what your cousin was like, what Kieran was like, his personality?
Well, for the numerous time that I know Kieran, right? I know him as a good person all the time. He go in and do work at John Finance and different other places as an operator.
What was he like growing up to this point? Did he have any problems? Was he a problem child? Was he a quiet
never
person?
Been convict, nothing at all. Never ever been convict. This is the first time we see him in this problem. He never been convict. But I don't know, everything was good. He never went, no problem. Like, never went in the lockup. Must even go to jail. This is the first thing we see him being convict. So I feel that he been influenced by the rest of friends and cousins.
On Tuesday morning, the gun-toting men attacked the Republic Bank Water Street Georgetown branch, donning masks and gloves. They opened fire on bank staff in the premises, and one bank employee was held hostage at gunpoint by the now-dead gunman. However, after a shootout among security officers at the bank, police officers and the bandits, Ray was killed and his accomplices captured. Reporting for HGP Nightly News, I am Kristen Macklingam.
On the political front, the Working People's Alliance has concluded that the party did not pull significant votes in the last general elections, but had been influential in the elections process and deserves equal treatment as any other party in the coalition. This story from Rodin James.
The voice of the WPA these days is that of Dr. David Hines. The party met with President Granger last month, and another meeting is set for later this month. But between those meetings, the WPA is politicking in the media. The burning concern of that party is that they feel they have not been kept in the loop by APNU, and they are now demanding a culture of consultations within the coalition. Dr. David Hines pointed out instances of the WPA getting the cold shoulder from APNU ministers on legitimate matters of concern to the party. The reported lack of consultations on the reassignment of Education Minister Dr. Rupert Roopnarine is a bone in the throat of the WPA. Dr. Hines was then asked why his party made so many demands and looked forward for so much, given that they make up a small fraction of the coalition.
We think that the WPA has been a victim of this nonsense about big party and small party. The minute you enter coalition, big party and small party go. We all become equal. You know, it takes one parliamentarian to vote against this government. Just one. Yeah? It could be the WPA, one from the WPA. It could be one from the AFC. It could be one from the PNC. Just one to stop this government.
Dr. Hines stressed that the fact that the WPA is still in the coalition and is speaking out on issues shows the relevance of the party.
When you get into a coalition, you become equals. Right? This thing about big party and small party goes. You're a big party when you're on your own. Right? Once you decide to join with others, you are entering into an equal arrangement. We are all equal partners because we all bring something to the survival of that coalition.
Then there is the notion that the WPA does not bring in votes at elections.
It's true, the WPA in the elections that we fought never got plenty votes. But you know, it takes a lot to get those votes out to the poll. You have to write a manifesto. We know to do that good. And we contribute tremendously to the writing of the manifesto of the APNU and the APNU AFC. You need to get on that platform day in and day out and night in and night out to bring the people to the poll.
Hines recalled in 2011, Dr. Rupert Roopnarine played a significant role on APNU's platform, mobilizing new troops. And at that elections, Hines pointed out the vote increased from 34% in 2006 to 41% in 2011. Roy Den James, HGP Nightly News.
Back with the police. The recent police shooting in Leopold Street might have been more personal than professional. It is also alleged that the police planted the evidence. Here's more. The shooting of an unarmed man in Working Rust, Georgetown is now engaging the attention of the Police Office of Professional Responsibility. Relatives of Akim Rajkumar are seeking an explanation from the high authorities as to why the police shot him, assaulted him, which was caught on video, when more than 10 officers went to arrest him.
I keep saying, Auntie, I ain't doing nothing. I'm innocent. I'm going dying, but my every day's go wrong. We have to get justice.
The police's case is that Rajkumar was wanted for robbery under arms and that they had received a tip-off that Rajkumar was seen brandishing an unlicensed gun in the Working Rust area. The lawmen allege that when they got to the scene and approached Rajkumar, he tried to disarm a policeman. Your nephew did not try to disarm a policeman?
No. The video showing that he never tried to disarm them. You understand? And if you can come, if a 20 police can come with big gun, he ain't a robot. He's only a human being. He ain't a robot, but somebody can fight all them guns and disarm them.
This piece of footage shows Rajkumar as he's on the roadway, guarded by heavily armed policemen. The lawmen claim that they never assaulted Rajkumar. The video tells a different story. Rajkumar was later charged. He was taken before a city magistrate on Wednesday, charged with robbery under arms and possession of narcotics. His aunt says it was planted evidence.
They come back when they finish carrying out to the brick dam and go into a rubbish bin, a big blue barrel. In the video we're seeing, and go in the barrel and find some weed and place it on my nephew, saying that this is his weed.
Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. Fixing the woes of Guyana's 911 emergency system demands a collaborative effort by several agencies. It is envisaged that by the end of September, there should be a solution to the problem. More from Jeffwan Vickery.
Back in March, telecommunications service provider Digicel was awarded a $27 million contract for the installation of the 911 Business Solution Emergency Service contract. Minister of Public Telecommunications Catherine Hughes explained that her ministry, while not directly involved in the resuscitation process, has been working with the Ministry of Public Security, the entity that has been overseeing the rehabilitation of Guyana's emergency system.
I know that we have been working with that ministry to ensure that we can provide safe, fast, and secure internet access. So certainly in terms of that part of it, we would be providing the enabling environment. But I think we all know that Digicel got a contract to provide the equipment. And I understand that that equipment has been purchased and it is due to arrive in Guyana sometime in July.
Minister Hughes stated that while Digicel will be responsible for the rehabilitation of the emergency system, which has not functioned fully for the past several years, telecommunications provider GTT will play a major part.
I also understand that GT&T have been, have received an agreement to operate the system. And therefore the thinking is that by the end of August, September, we should be well on our way. I know the Ministry of Public Security said that in the meantime, they're putting the things in place in terms of the wiring and the other requirements to be able to put the equipment in place and the system.
According to reports, the police force believed that the problem was technical, on the side of GTT, rather than human on the side of the police force. The phone company, in a response, said that handsets had disappeared at the 911 receiving stations. GTT added that in some cases, handsets were taken off the hook or the phones were not answered by personnel during standard working hours. Javon Vickery, HGP Nightly News.
Thank you, Javon. Let's not make the GCOM chairmanship issue a problem, Minister Harman tells the Berbice community who raised the issue at an event recently. The minister expressed confidence that the matter will be solved as early as possible. The details in this report from Rodin James.
The business community in Berbice recently raised with several government ministers the issue of the non-appointment so far of a chairman for the Guyana Elections Commission, GCOM. Minister of State Joseph Harman assured the chamber that this matter is of great concern to the government as it is to the business community.
So while we're saying that the world is watching and all of these things, we understand that. We understand that the world is watching, but Guyana's interest is best served by the Guyanese people. And we would like to see our political leaders solve this problem. And I do believe that it's within the competence of these two gentlemen to solve this problem. And I am convinced, based on what I've seen and what I've heard, that the problem will be solved.
The minister told the business owners that there are other pressing issues which should be under their microscope. In essence, he urged them to look at the bigger picture of things.
So then let us make GCOM chairman a problem. It's going to be fixed.
Mr. Harman is of the belief that both Mr. Granger and Mr. Jagdeo are handling the matter in good faith, despite some noises in the public on the issue.
As of now, that process is still alive. It is still alive. The leader of the opposition has not shown up his hand and said, give up, I'm finished. It is still alive. And therefore, as I said on an early occasion, that we should give these gentlemen an opportunity to finish their work.
So far, Mr. Jagdeo has submitted 2 lists of nominees to the president for his consideration, both of which were rejected. Royden James, HGP Nightly News.
Thank you, Royden. The water company, GWI, is getting edgy over $5 billion worth of outstanding fees owed by customers. The company is set to sanitize its collection system to rake in the arrears. Javon Vickery reports.
Chief Executive of the Ghana Water Inc., Dr. Richard Van West Charles, in an exclusive interview with Nightly News, explained that the water company has also registered a 20% increase in its collections. And while the figures reflect business for the first half of 2017, there are still millions of dollars owed to the water company. Cash, which the chief executive says can be used to fund the company's improvement projects. Consumers owe GWI $5 billion Ghana dollars.
There's some debt going way back to probably 2010 by different customers. We have been able to disaggregate that data for each region, and now that we have zoned the entire country, we are able to look at the debt per zone. This therefore gives us a more strategic direction with respect to the recovery of the debt.
Dr. Van West Charles further noted that there were several contributing factors to the large sum of arrears incurred by customers, one of which pertains to fixed billing. This and other issues will be remedied shortly, he says.
I met a very strange animal when I joined the company called no charge. So it's where if a customer is disconnected because of debt, that customer is classified in an account called no charge. But what I have found recently is that we did a quick check about 50 persons who are on the no charge list, and that revealed that 49 of those people were connected.
The chief executive also warned against the non-compliance of consumers to pay their water bills. He cautioned consumers to visit any of the GWI branches countrywide before it is too late.
Now we're gonna give people if you're disconnected for debt, we will give you about 4 to 5 days. And if there's no payment, then that service is removed completely. And you will have to reapply for the service, which will cost you a bit more money. Because you have the option, if you owe us, you have the option of coming in and establishing a contract.
GWI stated that for the first half of 2017, the company focused heavily on improving water quality and increasing water production and distribution countrywide. Javon Vickery, HGP Nightly News.
We tell you now that government has allocated $20 million to build 2 new speedboats to replace the rented river taxis currently operating in the Berbice River. Rodin James reports.
2 speedboats were contracted by the Transport and Harbors Department to operate in the Berbice River after the Berbice Bridge Company refused to reduce its tolls in 2015. School children and pensioners are allowed to use the service free of cost, while other passengers pay $140. The boat operators currently ply their trade from 6 in the morning up until 9, and then again from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. on weekdays. Now, the government is looking to replace those contracted speedboats, according to Minister within the Ministry of Public Infrastructure, Annette Ferguson.
The government has given in excess of $20 million Guyana dollars. So Transport and Harbors Department is currently sourcing boat builders to construct 2 brand new speedboats that will be replaced by those private boats that we have in the Berbice River.
It was noted that the Public Infrastructure Ministry feels that it will make better sense for the government to own and operate their own boats than to pay private individuals, since the service will remain for a long time.
The reason for us, putting the 2 speedboat vessels there in the Berbice River is as a result to, alleviate or bring some degree of, not really travel, but to help the vulnerable, like the school children, the elderly.
Only recently, Minister David Patterson promised the Berbicians to resume the ferry service from New Amsterdam to Rosignol. Royden James, HGP Nightly News.
Thank you, Royden. An overseas group of Guyanese donates $500,000 to Uncle Eddie's senior citizens' home. Ayana George reports.
The New York-based Guyanese Independence Anniversary Celebration Committee has donated $500,000 to Uncle Eddie's home as a gesture of goodwill to help refurbish the facility. The committee says its vision is to promote cohesion, education, and other societal developments in Guyana. The committee also conducted an inspection of the home to evaluate the infrastructural repairs. Georgetown Mayor Patricia Chase Green expressed her gratitude.
As once we recognize that our old people need attention, and I prefer to say our elderly people, I am happy that others would have recognized it, because these are persons who would have served some time in their life and now need our attention. And so, because they're here, it doesn't mean that they should not be cared for.
Other troubling factors in society will be on the committee's agenda. Here's more from Charmin Prince, treasurer of the committee.
As we continue, we want to begin to work with the youths. There's a lot of work that needs to be done in Guyana, and we are committing to that. So this is not the first and the last time you will be seeing us. You will be seeing much more of us. We will be participating in much more initiatives in Guyana, including suicide, mental illness.
Guyanese in the diaspora are urged to unite and contribute to the economic development of their homeland. Director of Public Relations and Diaspora, Nevlan Dugid, mentioned that Guyanese in the diaspora need to cooperate to build Guyana.
For us to be everywhere we need to be able to support and promote our vision, which is to unite Guyana and follow the dream, which is one Guyana, because everyone might not agree. We welcome everyone to do celebrations for Guyana, but we want to align with everyone who is thinking forward progress and who are thinking, let's support and promote and grow our country.
Reporting for HGP Nightly News, Ayana George.
It's deals and more deals at Farfan and Mendes as the company celebrates its 50th anniversary of business in Guyana. Kristen Macklingham has more.
Farfan and Mendes Limited has brought many new technologies and practices to the local industry, including but not limited to the introduction of chainsaws and chainsaw milling to Guyana in 1967 and band mill technology in the early 1970s. To celebrate 50 years of operations in Guyana, the company is offering a number of its products at discounted prices, says Managing Director of Farfan and Mendes Limited, Andrew Mendes.
They're sort of giving back and having an open day for the public. Also working with some other, not only showcasing our products, but also working with the health services. We have a blood pressure testing going on. We have Ming's Optical here doing free eye testing. We also have, we're also supporting the Step by Step Foundation, which is a school for autistic children. You know, normally it's not a so well known a charity, but one we've supported for quite a few years.
Mr. Mendes explained that the company is an agent for Wood-Mizer mills and Stihl chainsaws and equipment, among other products, and has been serving the needs and wants of many Guyanese over the past 50 years. As such, the company remains committed to offering the best services and products possible.
That people come in here, and if they make a donation of up to $2,000 to Step by Step, we then pass on up to a 20% discount on a range of products that we have here to our customers. So it's our way of giving back to the community. It's our way of supporting a worthy cause. And it embodies what Farfan and Mendes stands for. I mean, we're a good corporate citizen. You know, we feel that we make more money actually by helping other people make money.
Farfan and Mendes Limited was originally set up as a joint venture company with FT Farfan and Sons Limited of Trinidad and Tobago, a company that had its start in sawmilling in the Twin Island Republic and grew into the sawmill supply business there. Reporting for HGP Nightly News, I am Kristen Macklingham.
Thank you, Kristen. Your sportscast is ahead.
I'm Calvin Chapman with the HGP Sportscast. Good evening. The 12th edition of the National Schools Basketball Festival bounced off over the weekend with a series of games at the Cliff Anderson Sports Hall. The opening game saw Marion Academy girls beat the New Amsterdam Multilateral 1919 with Jada Mohan leading the charge for the city side. She scored 11 points, 3 assists, 7 rebounds and 6 steals, while Kellyanne Sawyers pitched in with 4 points and Renuka Ramcharan added 2 points and 3 steals for Marion. Tashika Arthur was the lead person for the ladies from Berbice with a team-high 5 points to go along with her 6 rebounds. Meanwhile, under 14 defending champions Mackenzie High School MHS sent an early warning to the rest of the group, making light work of President's College 29 to 21 points. DeMarcus Adams top scored with 10 points and 5 rebounds, while C.Y. Walker added 4 points and 7 rebounds as Joshua Bacchus chipped in with 7 rebounds. Gabriel Lynn was the high man for PC with 9 points and 4 rebounds, while Joshua Butts had 5 points. It was not all smooth sailing for other teams as the Georgetown East Coast Under-16 regional champions St. Roses were edged by a motivated Bishops High School 37-36. Royden Glasgow led for BHS with 9 points and 6 rebounds, while Tariq Robinson and Stephen Hamilton added 8 and 7 points respectively. In their loss, Kwesi Roberts added 12 points and 14 rebounds, while Anthony Jansen scored 11 points and 14 rebounds. In the night's under-19 fixture, Mackenzie High overwhelmed New Amsterdam Multilateral 41-24, with Vishon Trim adding 6 points, with Yannick Tappin and Shamar Henry contributing 5 points each. Garfield Benjamin led New Amsterdam with 9 points. In the final game for the evening, Georgetown East Coast Regional Champions Marion Academy proved too strong for the School of the Nations, producing a 72-8 blowout. Games will continue throughout the week, starting from 15:30 hours every day, with the finals in all divisions set for this Sunday at the Cliff Anderson Sports Hall. The Ministry of Education, Department of Culture, Youth and Sport, National Sports Commission will commence its annual July-August swimming program on Monday, July 10th to August 18, 2017. A release from the National Sports Commission informed that no registration forms will be accepted after 4 p.m. on July 4, 2017. The opening ceremony will be held on July 10, 2017, commencing at 8:30 a.m. at the Colgreen Swimming Pool. All persons in attendance must be seated by 8:15 a.m. Transportation will be provided for children who will be using the National Aquatic Center, Liliendal and East Coast Demerara on the opening day. In the Digicel Schools Football Tournament, we tell you now that Erwin Garraway scored a hat-trick and Kaz Butts netted a double as Pure Masters Academy crushed Ascensions 7-0 when the Digicel Schools Football Championship continued yesterday at the GFC ground. Pure Masters Academy proved too much for the opponents, and Buds gave them an early lead when he latched on to a cross from Garraway and volleyed home in the 5th minute. Garraway converted from the spot in the 10th minute before Troy Ross slotted home from inside the area in the 16th to give his team a 3-0 lead at the break in a game which was reduced to 70 minutes due to a late start. Garraway and Butts proved little up front as Pure Masters Academy's onslaught continued in the second half as Ascension conceded 4 more unanswered goals in the second half. Despite the big win, Troy Ross of Pure Masters believes that more needs to be done.
Still looks like because we ain't putting in enough training. We still got to put in more training and improve our score more goals.
In the other match, Lodge Secondary beat Charlestown 5-0 in the second fixture at the said venue. Rodwell Benton opened the score in the 2nd minute before extending the lead in the 40th. He then completed his hat-trick in the 47th before Thurston Gordon found the back of the net in the 50th, while Shamar Dover netted in the 55th minute. Regional news. Superstar opener Chris Gayle has been named in the West Indies 30-man squad to face India in the one-off T20 International at Savannah Park on Sunday, while Guyana's Runsford Beaton has earned a maiden call-up. The 37-year-old Gayle, the region's most experienced player in the shortest format, has not suited up for the West Indies since helping them to the capture of the T20 World Cup in India in April last year. He was picked in the squad to face the Indians in a 2-match T20 series in Fort Lauderdale last August, but never played because of fitness issues. Gayle has played 295 T20s and recently became the first batsman to crest 10,000 runs in the format. The big-hitting left-hander will join the likes of fellow T20 superstars Kyron Powell, Marlon Samuels and Sunil Narayan in the squad, which will be again led by all-rounder Carlos Brathwaite. Gayle is the only change to the squad that swept Afghanistan last month, replacing Lendl Simmons, who had scores of 6, 17 and 15 in a 3-match series. The last time the two teams met in a T20, West Indies won a nail-biter in Fort Lauderdale by 1 run. But the West Indies have had a poor run of results in recent months, with just 4 wins in their last 10 outings. The full squad reads Carlos Brathwaite, captain, Samuel Badri, Runsford Beaton, Chris Gayle, Evan Lewis, Jason Mohammed, Sunil Narayan, Kyron Pollard, Rovman Powell, Marlon Samuels, Jerome Taylor, Shadwick Walton, and Kesrick Williams. And that's all we have for you on the HGP Sportscast. Is now back to you, Travis.
Shooting of Akim Rajkumar. Family alleges that police planted the evidence. Slain bandit's car found abandoned. Relatives and neighbors befuddled by the premature end of their freedom. Do not make GCOM chairmanship an issue. Minister Harman tells the Berbice business community, and consumers owe GWI $5 billion. Non-compliant consumers to soon feel the heat. Those were our major headlines. For these stories and more, please go to our website. It's www.hgptv.com. I'm Travis Chase. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.